Hello, lovely good evening to you, and welcome to Camnet Television Main News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo to present it. Our top stories in the news tonight: Water and Sanitation Minister gives 2 weeks ultimatum to a contractor working on the sewer system in Kaunda Square. 10 nabbed in NCHELENGE district for the murder of a 63-year-old man. First Lady MUTINTA HICHILEMA urges Christians to use music as a unifier. In international news, Sudanese demonstrate against UN mediation efforts. And in sports news, France aim to defend their title at the 2022 QATAR World Cup.
You know, I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You've heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center. Learning for reigning in life.
Hello again, another news in detail. A community-based human rights activist, Francis Kamwena, has called for a scrutiny of how local authorities around the country are performing to facilitate for necessary adjustments in response to the findings. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Kamwena notes that matters of land encroachment are on the rise in communities at the watch of authorities mandated to curb such illegalities. He warns that if the status quo remains the same, matters will only continue to escalate, adding that there is need to create sanity for the benefit of future generations. More in this report.
Countrywide in Zambia, places like communities, higher learning institutions, schools, and not even hospitals have been spared from land encroachment, which is an ever-growing concern in Zambia. The construction of buildings has commenced overnight on undesignated places, not even leaving room for emergency vehicles like ambulances and those from the fire brigade to safely navigate in a quest to save lives and property.
So far, we've been to numerous offices, nothing has happened. I think it's time we appealed to the president. Maybe it takes him to look into such matters if his officers are unable to intervene in such little things. How a council can allow such lawlessness is beyond residents of Silverest.
A community-based human rights activist, Francis Kamwena, observed that these activities have been ongoing despite all 116 districts in the country having local authorities which are mandated to ensure that such activities are immediately stopped and sanity restored. Mr. Kamwena has observed what he has termed as a reluctance in local authorities when dealing with matters of land encroachment.
We are very, very worried. We are very, very worried. So as a concerned citizen, I'm still appealing to our leaders, our councillor, our MP, where are you? We don't want, when time comes, maybe 2026, what are you going to convince us? What are you going to tell us? If we cannot see your input, can you show us your input?
The community-based human rights activist notes that while local authorities are currently undergoing a human resource audit aimed at determining whether only professionals are employed in various positions, the performance of councils should also be evaluated and necessary changes made. He adds that there is need to put an end to irregular activities before they become the order of the day. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, Mike Mposha, has expressed disappointment at the quality of works that were done by a named contractor engaged to work on the sewer system in Lusaka's KAUNDA Square, Stage 1. The minister, who Sunday morning visited the area, has given contractors 2 weeks in which the project should be completed before the onset of the rainy season. Meanwhile, the minister is also disappointed to find that traders have abandoned the 600 capacity market shelter at KAUNDA Square Market and have opted to be trading along the roadside. Mr. Mposha has since given the Lusaka City Council a 1-week ultimatum to ensure that all marketeers are removed from the roadside and brought back into the market. More in this report.
Sewer overflow in Lusaka's KAUNDA Square Stage 1 has proved to be notorious despite all efforts that have been made to control the situation. Sunday, 30th October 2022, Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Mike Mposha visited the area to inspect on the 81 million kwacha sanitation project being undertaken in KAUNDA Square and Matero constituencies aimed at improving the sewer challenges before the onset of the rain season. The minister, however, could not hide his displeasure at the contractors, which has taken the project longer than the usual time.
How can we design an upgrade of a sewer network and put 6-inch pipes, and then we begin to blame people that they are throwing solid stuff into the network? Because when I look at the other types of the pipes that you are now bringing, this is what should have been done. And then you call that as an upgrade. How can we put a design that is already failing us even before we commission the project?
But Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company Acting Managing Director was quick to mention that community members are in a habit of throwing foreign substances in the pipes, which can be attributed to the use of squatting toilets.
We are going there because that's another very problematic.
Exactly. We find bottles in the system, and the sewers are never designed to be.
And the minister, after completing his tour, addressed the media where he has directed that the sewer challenges be sorted within the next 2 weeks, adding that government is in the process of starting another project in the area to connect over 3,000 households to sitting toilets.
Shall work within the next 2 or 3 weeks to ensure that we put the measures that were prescribed in terms of putting slightly bigger pipes so that we can improve and reduce the constant blockages of sewer. The other one, where we are migrating the squatting toilets into the sitting toilets, will take a bit long, but we hope that once this is implemented, it will have given us a long-term solution which will ease the pressure we are experiencing on the sanitation network.
Meanwhile, the minister, who also toured this market shelter in KAUNDA Square Stage 1, was disappointed to find the market nearly empty because traders have opted to trade by the roadside. Mr. Mposha has since directed the Lusaka City Council to ensure that all traders are brought back into the market within the next 1 week.
I want to call upon the Lusaka City Council to be more proactive, to be more serious in the enforcement. I think they need to come on the ground. Officers from the Lusaka City Council must come and ensure that we sweep clear of the lawlessness that is existing around this. Let the people come into the market and trade in this designated.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has charged that most workers in Zambia do not understand the role of the ministry in settling labour disputes. Labour Commissioner Givens Mutengwa says the ministry has, in most incidences, been accused of failing to protect the interests of Zambian citizens, even when the issue does not require the intervention of the ministry. Mr. Mutengwa has cited that it is not the duty of the Ministry of Labour to bargain for a wage raise for employees, but that the ministry has been dragged into such matters which are supposed to be handled by unions. He has since called on employees and the workers to familiarize themselves with labour laws in order not to get entangled in labour disputes that are beyond the mandate of the Ministry of Labour. More in this report.
Tamba is not working. She is not working. At least the shuffle. Put a person, appoint a person who can work. Yes. We are suffering at Oriental. Yes. Our graduates are not being paid. Mr. President, we need the shuffle for the Ministry of Labour.
The Ministry of Labour has for many years come under attack by some aggrieved employees who have accused the ministry of failing to protect the interests of many Zambian citizens who have been faced with labour disputes at their place of work. Many of the aggrieved employees have gone as far as calling on the Minister of Labour to resign from her duties, while others have called for officers under the Ministry of Labour to be dismissed or transferred to other ministries. However, Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Labour Commissioner Givens Mutengwa has told Camnet News that there has been information gap in understanding the role of the Ministry of Labour in settling labour disputes. He has cited that it is not the duty of the Ministry of Labour to bargain for employers to increase salaries of their employees, but that the ministry has been dragged into such matters.
Have endless powers to do as we wish. We cannot go to a company and tell them, say, oh, this one, pay him 10,000, this one, no. That would be anarchy. And that's the understanding that the employees must begin to embrace. Because right now when you go there, oh, we have not had any salary increment for the past 2 years. Ministry of Labour is not doing anything. No, that's not the point. They must also realize that on a daily basis, we have our inspectors out there trying to inspect companies, trying to ensure that there is compliance with the law.
The commissioner also added that it is an offence for employees to go on a strike or protest at their place of work without first following the laid-down procedures, which he says in most cases have ended up in some employees losing their employment, while the Ministry of Labour has had its hand tied in resolving such matters.
Employees, therefore, in terms of grievances, if they are unionized and the union has failed, for example, to arrive at a just wage, at a just condition of service, then there must be a declaration of a dispute which culminates into two options. Either you go to court or you engage an arbitrator. And if the arbitrator fails, then at that stage you can go to court and then the courts will determine. Or the other option is you can seek to conduct a strike ballot, and when that strike ballot is in favor of the members who are present, the majority vote for a strike, then you will have a legal strike.
With increasing number of investors investing in Zambia and new businesses emerging, labour disputes have also been increasing, which calls for more sensitization on how aggrieved workers are supposed to air their grievances without breaking the law. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
First Lady MUTINTA HICHILEMA says music is a powerful tool that can be used to unify or divide a nation or groups of people if not carefully chosen. Speaking as guest of honor at the 9th Seventh-day Adventist Church music concert dubbed Imba Kwa Akili, in Swahili translated as Sing with Understanding, Mrs. HICHILEMA says the musical conference resonates with government's agenda of unifying the nation through various means, music inclusive. She notes that it is important for Christians to choose carefully the music which will build and not destroy. The musical concert held in Lusaka Sunday was also attended by Zambia National Service Commander Lieutenant General Maliti Solochi and the Lusaka District Commissioner, among other senior officials from the SDA Church.
Jiwele We should remember that music is a two-edged sword. It has the inherent capabilities to destroy or enrich your soul. We therefore need to be alert on what kind of music we should embrace as Christians. Our goal is to sing to the glory of God and preach through music. Let me conclude by quoting the following Bible passages, Colossians 3 and Ephesians 5, on how our singing is supposed to be. In Colossians 3 verse 16, Paul delivers his counsel powerfully, telling us to sing to God and to the Lord, because He is the object of our praise. Further, Ephesians 5 verse 19 renders more weight and states that you should sing and make melody to the Lord with your heart.
The Southern African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, has observed that Zambia has a lot of work to do in restoring its status as a peaceful country, having dropped from the 51st most peaceful country in 2020 to 71st in 2021, according to global rankings. In an interview with Camnet News, SACOD Executive Director Boniface Chambe says in comparison to the past, the current political scene paints a picture of political violence, causing the status of Zambia as a peaceful nation to fluctuate. Meanwhile, in a separate interview, New Heritage Party President Chishala Kateka has warned the current administration against unnecessary arrests, adding that such is painting Zambia as a police state to the international community. More in this report.
While African countries like Congo and Central African Republic are known for civil war, Zambia, on the other hand, has enjoyed a peaceful status since independence in 1964 and is one of the preferred investment destinations by the international community. The Southern African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, notes that such a status is key in progressing economically and attaining overall development where all citizens will benefit. The fluctuation of this status has however worried SACOD Executive Director Boniface Chambe, who notes that the drop from the 51st in 2020 to the 71st most peaceful country in the world in 2021 is an indicator that there is serious need to end vices like political violence.
So what we've done well so far, if you are to ask whether Zambia continues to improve or not, is that we have managed to avoid a civil war. We have managed to avoid a hot conflict, and that is something that we must pride ourselves with. That is something that we must comfort ourselves with, but we must do so cautiously and must avoid a situation whereby we sit on our laurels and begin to ignore acting and doing the right things where the maintenance, promotion and protection of these democratic credentials are concerned.
On the other hand, New Heritage Party President Chishala Kateka observes that there is need for more political tolerance in the country going forward after the 2021 general elections, warning that Zambia will otherwise look on the international scene.
What is concerning us is we are seeing so many people being arrested. I don't think we have seen any government or dispensation before this with so many arrests. That sort of, I think we've issued today, we've actually issued an article which we are calling that Zambia is sleepwalking into a police state. When we voted the PF out, we thought that we were done with the issue of political violence. I think that was one of the reasons, one of the major reasons that Zambians voted the PF out. But we have seen a resurgence. We have seen this issue of political violence, especially by the ruling party, raising its head again.
Peace, justice, and strong institutions are characteristics of a fully fledged democratic country, attributes which stakeholders hope Zambia will achieve by 2030. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has alleged that the events surrounding the two by-elections in Kwacha and Kabushi constituencies on the Copperbelt have eroded the already weak public confidence in the democratic processes and the autonomy of democratic institutions such as the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. TIZ Chapter President Sam Pakalungu says the key players in the by-elections elevated their personal and group interests far beyond the larger public interest and public good, thereby driving the country to a near constitutional crisis. The chapter president says there was subsequently widespread voter apathy with only Ushi and Kwacha respectively. Mr. Kalungu says it is worrying that a party that was given a strong mandate to govern on the basis of being different is adopting the same tactics that the Zambian citizenry widely rejected. The chapter president has since called on the UPND party and administration to refrain from such backward maneuvers and live up to the high expectations that the Zambian people have in them. Police in NCHELENGE district of Ulapola province have apprehended 10 suspects, among them 6 women, in connection with the murder of a 63-year-old man. Police Deputy Spokesperson Danny Mwale has named the deceased as Aaron Mwansa of Matandiko village, who died after a mob stoned him to death on suspicion that he was a wizard. Mr. Mwale says police officers who rushed to the scene found the deceased lying in a pool of blood, partially burned with deep cuts on his face. Investigations revealed that the deceased was suspected to be responsible for the death of his niece, who died on the 28th of August 2022 after an illness. The police deputy spokesperson says the suspects are alleged to have intercepted the deceased on his way to the market on October 19, 2022, around 10 hours, where they brutally beat him and dragged him into his house, which they set fire by the doorstep. The deceased, however, managed to escape to the lake near his house, but was followed and stoned to death. The body has since been buried after post-mortem was conducted, while the suspects are in police custody.
500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center. Learning for reigning in life.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. 3 young Zambian males have created an application known as Tafika Ticket to run this week, aimed at enabling their passengers free booking of tickets at intercity bus terminus, the comfort zone, at their comfort zone. Speaking when he met the Young Innovators, Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati says government supports innovators through funding, capacity building and connecting them to the right network. Mr. Mutati says the ministry has a lot of opportunities, but cautioned the young innovators to be patient, adding that progress takes time and should be combined by ethics and good workmanship. And Tafika Ticket Chief Executive Officer Tawanda Malambo says the application will soon start running and already has about 7 fleet owners on board with hopes to expand the partnership. And Tafika Chief Operating Officer Happison KAUNDA says the application is tailor-made to suit the ever-traveling public, hoping to reduce the cost of traveling. More in this report.
Digital transformation is key to improving the mode of doing business at all levels. Responding to these, 3 young entrepreneurs have innovated an application to run this week aimed at creating an enabling environment for the travelers. The application, known as Tafika Tickets, will enable people to book tickets to a destination of choice with the fleets registered on the application at no cost. Speaking when the Tafika crew met Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati, Tafika Tickets Chief Executive Officer Tawanda Malambo says this digital transformation will protect the consumer from the cowboys at intercity bus terminals by booking a tickets with no hassle.
Getting a ticket these days is very tedious. Sometimes you would have to maybe go to the station and do it before you get the ticket to, let's say, Johannesburg, for instance. And COVID didn't do us any good because a number of operators have reduced their fleet size. And so getting, especially routes like Nakonde, very limited buses going. So for you to get a ticket, it's becoming very difficult. And so this solution that we have and we brought to market, not just like Lendo and Yango digitize the taxi space, we also plan to digitize the ticketing space in that operators will have organized data of their users, and also they'll be able to track their ticket sales, reduce some leakages, and also users have the comfort of just browsing through operators and getting checked out.
Tafika Marketing Officer Sophie Msisha has called on government through the line ministries to ensure that funds aimed at supporting innovators are publicized to allow transparency in the disbursement of funds.
While we were at your ministry, we got information that there are several programs under your ministry that supports youth like Tafika and these guys. But we haven't really had that information readily available. They say they are in the diaspora and they're unable to access that information. So I think my call as a public relations officer is if we can have everyone follow the comms department as well to just be more aggressive with the publicity, because the guys actually were a bit surprised to hear that there was support, but they couldn't have that information. So that's a humble call.
Meanwhile, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says government will support the crew, adding that they need to be patient, noting that innovations die because people have no patience.
I like this innovation in Tafika. It has convenience, it has efficiency, and from a customer perspective and an economic perspective, it's reducing the cost of travel. Because typically, if you want to get a ticket, you've got to go to so you take a bus to go there, you probably wait, then come back home, and they'll tell you have to go there 2 days before in order for them to and all these things. But now you are telling us that you can transact anytime, anywhere, and anyhow. So whether it's from your phone, from your hotel, or whatever. So those 3 days are important, and that's why I like what you guys are doing. Okay. So we'll try. What we are saying is that let's solve the funding issue, and you solve the innovation and the technology issue. But then within the third leg, how do we capacity build on the business side? Because unless you have the 3 legs, you'll find that you're actually not moving forward. So, like I said, we've got partners, etc., etc. But beyond that, we've got what may go unfolding.
The 3 young people behind the application are technology enthusiasts with hopes of transforming the digital landscape of the Zambian transport sector. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia National Traditional Councillors Association, ZNCTA, says there is urgent need to ensure that traditional leaders are educated on the Children's Code Act No. 12 of 2022. ZNCTA Programs Manager Gordon Muchemwa says this is so because the violation of children's rights is rampant in traditional setups through acts such as child marriage. Mr. Muchemwa has further called for deliberate programs targeted at out-of-school girls to ensure that these take advantage of the free education policy and go back to school. He explains that traditional leaders should be seen as key focus persons in bringing about gender equality, noting that these should undergo continuous capacity building trainings and be financially empowered to help them carry out their duties efficiently.
Yes, tradition, that is what tradition tells, but at this time, that tradition does not hold anymore. So my appeal to traditional leaders, please let's be able to respect the rights of children, the rights of girls, because they are also human beings, they deserve their rights. So I'm appealing to government and other civil society organizations, let's have deliberate programs to reach out to these out-of-school girls, because we've seen some of them patronizing bars, which is not right. So as a country, as a nation, let's find some other programs that can specifically target that group of adolescents which are out of school.
Government says it is concerned with the plight of drivers covering both local and international routes and has urged owners of transport and logistics companies to prioritize safety and well-being of their employees. Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Tayali, who spoke when he visited Memory Banda, a female truck driver who was recently involved in a road traffic accident in South Africa, commended the drivers for the role they play in the transport sector, adding that they are a critical resource in the country's economy. And Ms. Banda has sustained head injuries and a broken right arm due to the accident, has thanked the minister for showing a spirit of Ubuntu in leaving his busy schedule to visit her. Mr. Tayali is currently in South Africa attending the 2022 SARA conference taking place in Johannesburg.
Very concerned about the tragic accident that had happened and the delays that took place for Memory to be attended to. I think Memory had sustained some serious injuries, and so basically this was to come and appraise myself as to the status quo and what is obtaining. So I'm delighted to find that Memory is now stable, making steady progress.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the heart, for your parental heart that you have shown to me. Awe nayamikira maningi sichopepuka manchito mwasiya ndiye yambiri yamini muli nayo, but mwachiona choyenera kuti first nimuone mwana ali wanga. Awe nayamikira maningi ndinewokondwera. Awe zikomo maningi.
This is Camnet Television News and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center. Learning for reigning in life.
We'll continue with the news. Now in international news, an estimated 3,000 people demonstrated Saturday on the streets of the Sudanese capital Khartoum against UN mediation efforts between civilian and military rulers. The gathering took place in front of the headquarters of the UN mission in Sudan. The crowd chanted pro-Bashir slogans and burned photos of UN envoy Volker Perthes. In other international news, Russia is stepping up efforts to capture the eastern town of Bakhmut. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
An estimated 3,000 people demonstrated Saturday on the streets of the Sudanese capital Khartoum against UN mediation efforts between civilian and military rulers. The crowd burned photos of UN envoy Volker Perthes and called for Islamist rule in the country. We are demonstrating for our dignity and sovereignty. Our country has been defiled by Volker, and before him by Hamdok, who signed this agreement, whose return to business we refuse. We want Islam to be applied to the letter in Sudan, so that, God willing, we can grow and move forward, and even outpace the rest of the world. Last year, a military coup led by Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan derailed a fragile transition to civilian rule after the 2019 ouster of longtime autocrat Omar al-Bashir. In Somalia, the death toll from Saturday's twin bomb attack in the capital Mogadishu has climbed to at least 100, according to the authorities. 2 cars packed with explosives were detonated minutes apart near the busy Zobe junction, followed by gunfire. I witnessed the first explosion, then I fled the area. There are deaths and injuries, but I don't know the exact number of the casualties. I was in the area when the first explosion went off. After that, I ran away. I saw many dead people. May Allah have mercy on the dead people and help the injured to recuperate. The attack happened at the same junction where a truck packed with explosives blew up in October 2017, killing more than 500 people. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud denounced the attack and blamed the Al-Shabaab extremists. So far, people who died have reached 100 and 300 are wounded, and the number for both the death and wounded continues to increase. We and the Muslim Somali people are at war with these men. At the time we talk, there is fighting against them going on in many parts of the country, whether it is Galmudug, Irshabelle, Southwest, or Jubaland states. Al-Shabaab extremists were driven out of the capital in 2011, but still control large parts of the country.
On the front lines near Bakhmut, there's a constant sound of shells flying overhead.
Let me go.
Trenches and bunkers are the only cover out here. Ukrainian soldiers wait for their reconnaissance drone teams to send them details of Russian troops. But whenever they fire, Russian troops fire back. We wait inside until there's a lull in the firing. The Ukrainians have told us we can't show any roads, landmarks, or anything that will reveal their positions. This soldier says he was a kitchen appliance salesman before Russia's invasion. Now, they call him the electrician.
Between us and them is about 1,800 meters of open space, and when someone appears, it is very noticeable. There was a time when Russians fired mortars, machine guns, and also snipers. Sure, we answered them. It all lasted not more than an hour.
Life is simple on the front line. No mattresses here, there's wood and a blanket.
This is our small, almost family home.
There are the beds where we sleep, and afterwards we swap. We don't have hotel conditions, where everyone has their own place. Someone's working, someone's on duty, and someone's resting. Here's my colleague resting now.
Ukrainian troops face both Russian soldiers and troops from the self-declared Donetsk People's Republic, or DPR.
Their tactics are using a lot of men to push forward and are aggressive in this. They use aviation and artillery. The Russians massively strike on exact locations, and the DPR fire randomly. It doesn't matter what they hit.
He's been fighting on the front line since 2014, when separatists took control of parts of eastern Ukraine.
We need more weapons. I mean more Western weapons. Not only guns, but also high-precision and high-caliber weapons. We give the Russians a good punch, but we would like more Western weapons to raise our morale.
We're told in the last few days the Russians have been trying to push forward. In some places along this front line, the Russians are less than 2 kilometers away. The men here say they've seen intense fighting as Russian forces try to break through the Ukrainian front lines. The soldier spots some movement. Max points out to us that our flak jackets are useless here.
Go through here? Easy. Easy. Easy.
But on the battlefront, they don't think about dying. All they want to do is hold the line and make sure their country doesn't fall.
It's now time for sports news. The French team is aiming for a FIFA World Cup feat yet again in Qatar, which has not been achieved in decades. The goal for the defending champions and one of the favorites is to become the first team since Brazil in 1962 to become back-to-back World Cup champions. More in this report.
France's 2018 World Cup victory was celebrated long and hard by French football fans. Now France are among the favourites to win the tournament again in Qatar. The squad has yet to be revealed, but it's likely to include 2 of the world's best attackers, Kylian Mbappe and Karim Benzema.
Karim Benzema pretty much won the Champions League on his own with Real Madrid, and Kylian Mbappe, by staying in PSG, stays in a club he knows. It gets rid of any doubts, and unless he was to be injured, he should be in good shape in Qatar. The France team has all the players you need to have a great World Cup, but the key will be whether they can play well together.
There's little doubt that a 3rd World Cup win for France would certainly inspire a whole new generation of footballers. At this amateur club in Paris, hopes are high for a France victory.
We love football, so all of us coaches would be really happy, as it would motivate the children because the French team would show them how to lead.
I'll watch the World Cup with my dad. I like this game, that's why I play.
I'd be pleased because it's my country and it would be a miracle.
The last time a team won consecutive World Cups, it was Brazil in 1962. As reigning champions, France will be under increased pressure as they defend their title. But they'll also know that having done it before, they could do it again.
That sporting note brings us to the end of the news, but we look at the headlines once again. Water and Sanitation Minister gives 2-week ultimatum to a contractor working on the sewer system in KAUNDA Square. 10 nabbed in NCHELENGE district for the murder of a 63-year-old man. First Lady MUTINTA HICHILEMA urges Christians to use music as a unifier. In sports news and in international news, the Sudanese demonstrate against UN mediation efforts. In sports news, France aim to defend their title at the 2022 QATAR World Cup. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? Thank you once again for watching the news. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.